Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 3. And we are over halfway there. To start with tonight, the announcements. I have graded week 2. Please review and review my feedback. Also, please take advantage of having a chance to resubmit. Not only does it give you a higher score, but it also gives you more practice at it. All right, today's class we're going to be going over, and if you have any questions, just let me know. All right, so to start with, today, how to use a loop control structure, how to create nested loops, learn how to use a for each loop, learn different types of arrays, learn rules to declare and use lists and tables, learn about bubble sort, serial, and binary searches. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about the assignment. All right, for the assignment, all right, let's take a look. Chapter 5, Chapter 6, Exercise 1, Exercise 2. Don't have them here. Oh yeah, I have them in a different folder. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michael.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, I'm just going over what we're required to do this week.
Okay.
And I'm pulling up the files.
Hold on. All my dogs just came in from a walk, so hold on. You might hear some ruckus.
No problem. Okay. So, as this says, Chapter 5, Chapter 6. Well, let's look at Chapter 5. These are all about debugging. Same with Chapter 6. I've had people have a hard time finding the book. So, if the book does come to you, not everybody's able to get to it for some reason. So what I'm having you do is if you can't get to that book, just do these. Okay? And like I said, for this class, we are still working on it. We just took it over. And I think this is the second mod it's been taught. So we're just making sure that we can rearrange it. It's going to be on the list to be changed. Okay? So please be patient with us. All right. Next. Come on. There we go. We have a quiz. I will be going over a lot of the stuff with the quiz, just not pointing out, hey, this is on the quiz, this is on the quiz. All right? So that being said, let's go back. Whoops, wrong one. To here. The loop, a loop control, and nested loops. Let's talk about some of those tonight. But first, let's bring these up. All right, this is a for loop, and this is a while loop. All right, so they look almost the same, right? Well, the for loop, the difference is this counts. Okay, so look at a student number. Does it equal 10? No. Print to the screen, go back, look at another number. If it equals 10, print to the screen and end. So you're going to get all if you start at 0 there. Now here, look at the student number. Does the student number equal 10? It's a true or false statement versus actual, I gave you a number. So if it's not 10, then we end. But if it is 10, well, we go here. So what is wrong with this one? by looking at that. Think about it. If it equals 10, go here, look at the student number. We just got that stuck in an indefinite loop. If it equals 10, because, well, true means we're going to end it. And it won't change, right? So if it equals 10, it should be ending. So that's where this one is backwards. Does that make sense? I wanted to show you what happens.
It makes enough sense.
Okay. So in other words, it's not true. Okay? It's not 10. So if it's not 10, well, we end. So there's no chance of getting 10 students. This is only going to get us the 1 student. Does that make more sense?
No. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine. Here's a way to do it. Excel is really good at this. Come on, hurry up.
I guess what I'm wondering is, you're talking about loops, correct?
Correct.
Like loop.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll let you explain.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Can I look at the diagrams again? So you're trying to figure out why, we're trying to figure out why one is correct and one isn't correct?
Nope. Okay.
Okay.
This one is a for loop.
Okay.
What did the 10 students do for the summer? So a for loop means look at the student number.
Yes.
Now I'm going to give you a picture. All right. So how well do you know Excel?
I mean, a little bit, not a whole lot. It's not something I use.
Random number? You know how to do a random number?
No.
Okay. Well, here. Random, between. So we're going to do a random number between. All right. Bottom number, 1. Top number, 10. All right, so it gave us a 9, right? Here, let's take this one out. There we go. All right, so that gave us a 9. Now we enter it again. 2. Okay, so now, based on that, so what I'm going to do, now we'll do an if then, all right? And this is where the for loop, because look, for is not a actual formula, but it's an if then statement, all right? So we want an if statement. Now, this comes back true or false, okay? So we're going to insert that. The logic test. If this equals 10. Wait. If this equals 10, then end. So then we're going to go to print. All right. So at this point, if it equals 10, then we put 10. If not, we go back and do a random test. All right? So that's where this formula comes in. All right? So let's go back. We're going to grab that formula. All right? So we come back to here. And we're going to do the if-then statement there again. Quit. So, come on, escape. Let's mess things up. All right, there we go. So now this, rather than here, we're going to do a V. All right, so it's going to keep doing a random until it hits 10. See how I hit 10 and it printed 10?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, it's going back again. All right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, now, that's using a number. All right, now we're going to do the true. So, well, we're going to leave that. We're going to actually leave that one the random. And this one, we're going to make the true statement. So, for the true, returns the logical value true. All right? If this equals 10. Right, now, see how that's no longer, that's a inappropriate formula?
Yes.
Okay. So how do we make this statement true? So if it's not true, I'm getting a false. Okay? But if it's true, we're going to say print 10. Or an easier way, there. All right? So it's not true yet. Not true yet. Not true yet. And this is the fun part about random. It could go for a while. Oh, now my formula is not working. But that's where the true statement comes in, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Returns a logical value of true. So, there. Come on. There we go. All right, so this is the true. All right, there we go. It's true because, well, we said it equals true. Now, we didn't tie those together, did we?
No.
Okay, now let's go with false. False does the same thing. It's a syntax error. Returns a logical value of false. But, so what we're going to do, random. All right, we're going to take this and copy it, okay? Now we're going to do random. So this equals this plus 9. All right, so that's going to be 10. But now we're going to say, we're going to, how does that work? Put the random back. And now the random's going inside. Ah, come on. It's not doing what I wanted it to do. Okay, so right now, okay, we start, look at a number. Does it equal 10? No, we add another one. But it prints it, okay? So what I'm going to do is this. Here's the way to do this. Come on. Let me delete this. There. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a random number. And I need to put the equals. All right, so now, based on that, let's see. Come on. All right, now, we're going to put a random, but first, we're going to say if this is not equal to 10, we do another random. All right? But there's no then there, is there? So, look, that is not an accurate one. So now we have to go to the if-then statement. If-then. Come on, find my functions. Okay, so we have logical ones. If S checks whether one or more conditions are met. Okay, so we're not doing that. We're only checking one. If returns a value, you specify if the expression resolves to NA. Okay, if there's an error, it returns that one. So then the if. Now what we're going to do is we're going to delete this. All right, put the if. So if this equals 10, then 10. Else, random. Now we don't put the equals there. All right, and I will just take this and drag it down. Notice the numbers did not work because what I have to do, just like this one, A1 to A10. Well, now when I come to here, it's A2 to A11, so A11 is blank. Within this, there is a way to set these numbers, but we're not going to go into that right now, all right? So this is going to be A1 to A10. So Command C. Now watch the difference. Notice how it changes each one because they're all tied together. Okay? See, if it's equals 10, then 10. If not, then it's a random number. So we'll hit this again. Oh, guess what? Well, that one just messed up because it just messed that formula up. Okay? See how that's doing that? So, oh, now we hit the 10. So, all right, there we go. But if we hit the 10, we want it to stop. So I delete that. All right, so now, there we go. And because they're all tied together, they're going to be a random until it hits 10. Then it quits counting. So it stopped because it found a 10. Otherwise, I'd be able to keep going. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
All right. So we're going to delete this. All right. So there's my random between A and 10. So I want to say if this equals 10, then 20. All right, so how do I make that work as a formula? This is how we'd write it, right? If we were writing the formula, writing that. But how do you do the mathematical formula?
Is that a question I'm supposed to answer? Okay. You're asking how would you write if number is
The formula again. So what we'll do, I'm going to put the formula right here. All right, so if this equals 10, then 20. Otherwise, 4. All right. So now that's how you'd write it. See that? If open C1 equals 10, so this is C1, then 20. It's going to print 20 there. If not, it prints 4. So we'll just keep doing this. Notice it prints 4 each time until we hit 10. And then instead, it's going to say 20. And because it's random, this could go on. All right? So what I'm going to do, theoretically, this should be 20, right? It should be, well, we could do 10 times. But if I'm doing an if-then, with a random number, it's going to keep changing. So watch this. So we're going to start that now, all right? So 6. All right, so 6. 9. 1. 3. And notice this one's 4 because, well, none of these equal 10, right? 3. And when you're doing an if-then, this is one of the biggest things. You can always do the same numbers. You can come up with a lot of the same ones. And see, it's not a constant. There's no definite how many times it's going to take because it's random. But odds are it will come up. Right? So this is what an if-then statement does. And what it...
So you're just repeating it until it gets...
Yep. And there's our 10. It took that many times to get the 10. Now, I'll show you something easier with Excel. All right, so I hit the enter. Notice nothing. All right, so we start with the 3. 9. If there's a number, there we go. Now, that time it took 3 times to do it. But every time you hit enter, the formulas refresh all the formulas. And that's what a program's doing. This is basically what that program right there says. So what I'm going to do is now make a list. All right. So student 1. 1. all the way down to student 10. All right, so now what I want to find out is, let's say, what did the student do for the summer? And these theoretically are what they did. All right, and this is what the if-then statement is doing. All right, so we're going to do our random. All right, so there's my random. So student 8. Well, now I'm going to say this is where we do the lookup, because this is how a database works, okay? If it picks 8, then this is what it says, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to add this now, okay? This will be student 8. So this, now we're going to do the if then. So if it's 9, then this. Elsewise here. All right, so student 9, because it said 9, right? We hit enter, and it's not changing. Why?
I'm not sure.
Because I have it stuck. This is not a good formula. Let's take a look at it. If A9 is 9, then it'll be B9. Otherwise, it's going to be B2. And this formula is not working, because it's always coming out to student here. Because I said if this is this. So that needs to be my random now, right? So we're going to make that the random. Okay. If random is between A1 and A10, then B9. Elsewise, none. Okay, well, let's add that back in. If a logical test is 1, then the value is true for here. Elsewise, it's going to be another if-then statement. So we'll just say 2, all right? So notice student 1 because the random's not there, right? So to put that random, let's put the random back in there. Come on, do what you're supposed to do. Oh, that's what's wrong. There we go. It's always student 1 until it comes up with what? Until it comes up 2. So 1, 2, 3. It's not coming up with it at all because it's going to take a while. Again, it's a random number. So it's a random number between 1 and 10. If so, if it's B1, which is what? B1 is the student. So in other words, I took it out of this row and put it here so it makes no sense. So if it equals, if this equals 10, that's where that comes in. Okay? So I want to say if the logic test, random between, is whatever it is. So look how that just became false, because now A2, which is this one, does not equal 10, does it?
No.
In other words, this one's not going to work. Because what I just did, all right, here's what I just did. Let's write this down in Word. This is what will help. This will help you see it. All right. So it's visible. All right, so now we want the if. If, the way this is written, okay, we're gonna take this and we're going to put it above this. All right, so if open a random number, and it just says it's a random number. So if it's 10, I said A2 equals 10. Otherwise, it equals A2. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Does that help what I just did?
I think so.
And I've got it stuck here because it will never equal 10 because of the way I did it. Because that's a random number. But A2, which is this, will equal 10. Well, A2 won't ever equal 10 because it's always a 2 there. Okay? So this is always a 2, so it will never equal that 10. So it will always be false because I said A2 would be 2. So in other words, this 10 has got this stuck in a loop. Does that make sense now?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, if we're trying to figure out what is wrong with the while loop, is it because we're actually asking, does the student number equal 10? Because we don't actually know that?
Right.
Is that what it is? Like, it's, okay.
Because it says, look at a student number. It doesn't say what number.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be random. So it's going to look at one. Does it equal 10? True, it equals 10. It's going to print it and go back to here. But if it's not 10, it's going to end. Does that make sense now?
Yes, I guess, yes.
Okay. here's the easiest way to put this down.
Well, I guess my question is, do you use the while loop when you don't actually know the number?
The while is more of a true false, but I will get more into that one tomorrow night.
Okay.
Right now I'm doing more of the for, okay? The if then for loop.
Okay. And that one, okay, sorry. And that one is you do it until, because we know that there are 10 students.
Right.
And we want you to continue this loop until you have done it 10 times, one for each student.
Right.
And
so
then you stop.
this one would be this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is where the if statement comes in. Okay. So we're going to say the if this equals 10, if it equals 10, so logic test, if it equals 10, not 100, 10, and this is where we say 10, stop. Otherwise, we go back and add 1. So equals this plus 1. Now notice how that did that. So we don't need to put the equals. We just need to say that plus 1. Okay? So that gives us a 2, right? Now we're going to take that formula down. Oh, it went to 11 because, well, it equals 10, then 10. Otherwise, 10 plus 1. So see where I just added an extra loop, so it's going to continue looping and going? Where it should have stopped because, okay, B1, if B1 equals 10. Yes. Well, it should stop, so that's the end of it. There, that should stop right there then, theoretically. Okay? So no matter what, that's going to be a 10, correct?
I'm following, yes.
All right, so I'm going to put stop there. Oh, I've got a problem with the name. This is where that comes in. All right, so stop because it equals 10. Now we're going to say that stop, okay, if B1 equals 10, then 10. If not, stop. Okay, but rather than a stop there, this is where I'm going to say equals this. All right, oops. All right, now watch. So we go to here, 8, 10. Will it continue? No, because it stopped at 10. Does that make sense now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I figured that would help. That way it's not stuck in a loop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the for loop. It's where it takes a number and goes on.
Just saying, do this until we reach 10.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're going to do, we're going to really throw this off. Here, actually, I got an idea. Red, orange, yellow. Do you know what this is so far? Green.
The Roy G. Biv.
Yeah. Roy G. Blue, indigo, indigo, violet. So Roy G. Biv, right? Notice how it actually printed what it was. Well, now I go to here, it's a 0, not a color. Is that is that acceptable?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's still the same. You're having it go through the entire list till all are done.
Okay, but the problem is that a color?
Well, no.
Okay, so it is under the hexadecimal system. So if it equals 10, then we want it to say black, right? Well, there is no 10 because these aren't numbers. So now we would say if this is null. Oh, there's an error. If this, so let's put this there. Okay, now there's no error, but it came back as 0. If this is null, B8 is null. Well, notice B7 is not going to be anything because it's empty, right? So it's looking at this and then taking that number because this is null. Now, what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're going to do the if-then statement. All right, so if if 0 or if, and this is going to be here. So this is going to be the if statement. Whoops, get back there. Okay, so if this is null, then the color will be black. Otherwise, it's going to be that color. All right, well, that's not going to work. We have to assign something here. And this is where I'm going to put the random, all right? Random. Between or just random. Now we're going to use just a random. All right, random number. Notice the random number does not equal anything normal. It's just a random number, right? See how it just becomes a random number, right? So no matter what, this is going to come back blank because it's not null, but it's not a number either. So if now we put the random in there, the between. If between 1 or 0 and 10. All right, so it's black. See how that's now no matter what? And we're going to run this down to here. We're going to run that one down to there. Oh, we got one, a green. Because, well, the random number was what? It rounds up to 1. So what I'm going to do here is Command 1, and I'm going to automatically take that number and round it up. See how that takes the color now? 0, 10, it's a black because it's between 0 and 10. If it's 0 and lower, or below 0, it's going to be black. Excuse me, it's not going to be black. It's going to be this.
Well,
that makes sense?
All of the other ones are black except green.
Yep. But, okay, the A7, 0 to 10, 0 or 10.
Oh, 0 or.
0 to 10.
Okay.
Sorry, not or. 0 to 10. So random. This. Now, if 0 to 10. Well, what I need to say is this one, because right now I choose that, it needs to associate with this number. Okay? So random between 0 and 10, then black. So no matter what, it's going to be random in black. This one time that it works is throwing everything off. Because that formula has a problem with it, because where it's 1, so it should be black. That formula is not properly working, is it?
Yeah.
So if random between 0 and 10, then black. So no matter what, it's going to be random between 0 and 10, theoretically. All right, now what I'm going to do is this. Now we're going to come here. If this equals 10, then black. Otherwise, green. All right, now I'm going to take that formula and move it up. Well, it all comes out black now, right? Well, this is why. All right, so let's take a look. If D1 equals 10, then black, otherwise green. Well, this is 0. D1 is 3, right? So this one is, if it's not 10, we're going to take that and copy this formula. All right? Here. Oh, no. There we go. We're going to post that there. Whoops. All right, so it's not 10, so it's black, right? It's green. Well, instead of the A4, that should be this. All right, so if it is between 0 and 10, well, if it equals 10, then it's black. Otherwise, well, this equals 3, right? So let's put 8. Still the same. 10, now watch. Well, that's a negative 10. There we go. Everything's now black because I made that one 10. Delete. All right, now, so we're going to take this formula and copy it all the way down. Notice how it goes all the way down. Well, black because, well, it's 10. Well, here I said C2. Okay, so if C2 equals 10, well, there's nothing in C2, so it's going to automatically show orange. But if I put the 10, now it's black. But if I put 9 or anything but, even 10.1, it's going to work because it's rounding, okay? This program rounds. So 10 point, it still rounds to 10 because it's under 10.5. 10.8. Still, it's rounding up. Now we go to 11, 9. What? I think I broke it. If C2 equals 10, which it does, black. Otherwise, A2. Right, so that's orange. So let's put a 9 there. There we go. Now it's working. So 2, no matter what, it's not a 10, so it's going to come back orange, right? So if I put that random statement in every one of these, it's going to be a random number whether or not those stay the same, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, watch. All right, so we're going to put a random number between 10 or 1 and 10. All right, now I'm going to copy that all the way down. Now here, if C1 equals 10, it's going to be black. Otherwise, A1. Okay, orange. C2 equals 10. No, black. Otherwise, A2. Same there. But notice this one went black because it went to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now watch, as I put out here, just anything else. Now they're all the same. See how that's working?
Mm-hmm.
Up, the yellow one came up 10, so now it's turned to black. So basically, it's like I turned that light off because of that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now what we could do, instead of black, off. Okay. I'm going to copy that all the way down. One of them, oh, okay, because, well, guess what? Now we're going to start over. Oh, now, because those two numbers, random numbers, were 10, the yellow and green light are off. Does that make sense now? That's how you write a program with the lights, the colors.
Yes.
Did I lose you?
Oh, no, I said yes. Oh, can you hear me? Michael?
Uh-oh. Okay, try talking again.
Hello?
Yeah, all right. This happens sometimes.
Can you hear me now?
Your speaker stopped working. No. Okay.
You can't hear me?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Hi, Michelle.
Can you hear me now?
I can, but
Okay.
something you got to remember, that wasn't your side.
Oh, is that your side?
Zoom does that. Okay, when Zoom does that, just like we were just doing, if it equals this, off goes the sound.
Mm.
And you notice I quit sharing the screen.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is it did that, so I go up to Zoom, and this will be something to help you out in your classes, and I'm showing this so everybody also knows if an instructor loses sound, how to help them get it back. Because usually it's not the students. Zoom does it. So we hit preferences. We actually do the speaker test. Okay, it's going to work most of the time. Then we do a mic test. Testing 1, 2, 3. And it clicks out. As soon as it clicks out, you have your sound back from.
Gotcha.
So if your students ever say you lost sound, you don't have to leave. You just quit sharing and do that, okay? Then you can share again. All right, so as I was saying, notice every time I change this, if it's not a 10, let's say these lights are on, okay? So what I'm going to do is actually red, orange. Now, interesting thing, look, this didn't take that over. Why? Do you know?
I mean, is that something Excel can do?
It can, but I have to tell it to. This is a program in itself. Okay, so this is going to equal A1. But I have to actually make the text in this the same one. And there are formulas to make that do that, okay? But if I don't do it, this is what I'm going to get. But also notice now, this is like the lights. This is where the lights are on, right? So we're going to make that a yellow background. And we'll take just, whoa, yuck. Randomly throw a color onto there. So it basically as if the lights are on, okay? Yuck, red and green, never. Light blue, never. That works. But that one will work. Indigo, let's grab this color. It's almost too light, so we'll grab a darker one. And this one's violet. So we'll grab, still too light for violet. Let's grab that. All right, so now, watch. Oh, this one says off, so this one would automatically be off. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if I wrote the rest of the formula out, these lights would be on, this light would be off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Or rather than off, okay, now watch. So we get a 10. There we go. See how that turned it off?
Uh-huh.
So that is all an if-then statement is. And it's a loop, and it keeps going till that 10. Oh, that one didn't, but then that's because I didn't change the formula. There we go. Now, we'll just keep going. See, it turned that one off.
Uh-huh.
And it'll keep going. Now that one's off. See, and this is how you do a formula to make them go off. Now, all I'm doing now is hitting my delete. So that's a change. Now I had 3 10s, so those 4 are on, the others are off. So I just wrote a program where these are working, just like this. If it's 10, print the color. If it's not 10, okay? Does the student number. So here, now it's colors. Does the number equal 10? Does the random number equal 10? No. Print the color. Yes. Print nothing. See how that's working now?
Yep.
So we just wrote a little program here, and all I'm doing is hitting the delete to make it work. So the delete key is the start key. Okay. So that's how you do it. That's the for statement. Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Did I confuse you? I had to figure out how to actually make it visible because the other ways weren't as visible till we did that, right?
Yeah. Nope. It makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. And I'll go back in and rewrite this so that this actually turns these on and off. Okay.
Okay.
But I'll do that tonight. All right. So if there's no questions, we're going to go ahead and end class right there. Thank you for coming to class. And like I said, sometimes I have to use different visionaries for each student.
Sure.
Which I love doing. So we'll always come up with something for every student.
Well, thank you, Michael. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Have a nice evening.